With us now, the man who is representing Julian Assange. Joining us by phone now is Mark Stevens. Mark, you're so good to join us, and we appreciate it. So
it's my absolute pleasure, Judge.
Thank you. What happened today? Was today, in the strictest sense, a bail hearing? Did the judge have any evidence before him to evaluate? Did he even have a charge to examine or analyze? Did he even scrutinize whether or not Julian Assange is worthy of bail, or is that something that's going to happen next week?
No, we have a rather bizarre system in Europe where if a state asks for somebody, we don't actually bring to the court hearing either the evidence or indeed the charges are scrutinized. And that will be, I think, alien to most people in America. I think it'll be odd to most people almost anywhere in the world. But that is the system that we have in Europe. And the judge actually said today that he was concerned at the evidence. I think he felt that these charges may be politicized, and I think he wants to look at the strength of the evidence, because you'll know, Judge, when you're sitting in these kinds of cases, you want to know whether this guy is likely to be made guilty or likely to be found innocent. And, you know, that'll have a big determinant factor on whether or not you're going to grant him bail or not. This particular point, it was obviously touch and go for the judge, but he didn't have any evidence before him, as we still don't today. We learned for the first time that about some of these allegations, but we don't know any of the real details. So we still can't begin to prepare this case, and that's part of the problem, and I think it's a deliberately manufactured problem to prevent us from being able to take proper instructions from our clients so that we could
when you do ask for bail, Mark, and when you do resist extradition, will you argue that the charges are ridiculous, that they are not credible, that they were prompted by the wishes of the American State Department? And if you do that, will you put witnesses on the stand to substantiate those allegations?
Well, certainly we're going to say that the allegations are not substantiated by the facts of the case, and indeed in that, I have the great good fortune of having the Swedish chief prosecutor concurring with me. And it's always nice to have the prosecutor concur with you, isn't it? And in relation to the involvement of the United States, that is something which remains outstanding. We don't have any definitive proof of the intervention of the United States at this particular point in time. But, you know, it is one of those questions that we have to say, this prosecutor does seem to be behaving oddly.
How long do you expect your client to be in jail? I mean, will he be in jail through the extradition proceedings, or will he make bail? I mean, after all, while the media was looking for him, he told the government where he was. There's no evidence of an attempt to leave Great Britain.
No, and he's known that these allegations are coming for some considerable time. And indeed, as I was leaving to court today, a couple of the police officers involved in this case today, I think slightly embarrassed by the Swedes, said to me, "I'm terribly sorry, sir. We really didn't expect that outcome." I mean, they thought he was going to be walking free tonight. I think they had reckoned without the kind of Wikileaks factor. And the judge has done us the real good favor and said, look, I want to see this evidence. I want to be able to make an independent assessment of whether or not this is a strong case or a weak case.
Last question before I let you go, Mark, and I know it's late, and again, we're deeply appreciative of your time.
Sure.
Is the insurance package about to arrive? Is the poison pill about to be revealed?
No, it's not. That's all about if people attack Wikileaks. Of course, the editor-in-chief of Wikileaks, Julian Assange, is indisposed at the moment. It's only indisposed tonight. But the Wikileaks have been releasing cables all day, and the many thousands of journalists have been working on this, the release of these cables, and they will continue to come out, whether or not Julian Assange comes out.
Mark Stevens, Julian Assange's lawyer from London, thanks very much for joining us. All right, Julian Assange has been denied bail, and now his website is being denied funding, with companies like Visa and PayPal cutting off WikiLeaks. Joining me now is civil rights attorney Ron Kuby. Ron, welcome to Freedom Watch.
Thank you, Judge.
Here is the beef that I have with what the government is doing. The government has bullied PayPal, has bullied Amazon, has bullied Visa out of doing business with a heretofore heretofore a perfectly respectable client. It would seem to me that the Constitution requires that if the government doesn't like some sort of a commercial relationship, it can file a lawsuit. It can't use the power of bullying.
Well, that's typically what happens, and in this case, amazingly, we are witnessing this odious international collaboration of various nations being spearheaded by the United States, the most powerful nation on earth, all being brought to bear against one journalist to prevent his journalism from emerging and to punish him for what has emerged. And that's a direct contradiction of not just American values, but of American law.
But the charges against him are utterly ridiculous. I mean, these women who filed these charges were people with whom he had amicable relationships after the consensual sex. There's no indication of any criminal activity, and the prosecutors who looked at it in August threw it out, said, we don't believe this.
I don't mean to disagree with your other esteemed guest, but I think Mr. Assange's path, unfortunately, will go from England fairly soon to Sweden on the phony rape charges.
Right.
And then the Swedish center-right government, which has consistently colluded and collaborated with the United States over some things that we shouldn't be doing, will waive most extradition procedures and send him back to the United States. There's a grand jury currently sitting in Alexandria, Virginia right now.
Interesting that it should be Alexandria, Virginia. Why is that the government's favorite place to try people who first enter the U.S.?
It is one of the most conservative districts. It's also one of the districts that has the huge number of federal employees and an obsession with secrecy. It is the headquarters of the CIA.
Do you think that Julian Assange will not get bail, will not see the light of day, will unsuccessfully resist being deported or being extradited to Sweden and to the U.S.?
Yes, yes, and yes. And I think within a few weeks he's going to be marched into a federal courthouse in chains and shackles. He'll be denied bail. He'll be held literally in a hole somewhere under a special administrative measure that'll cut him off from communication with almost everyone, even abridge some of the communications with his lawyers. He won't have his documents. He won't be able to prepare.
What the heck kind of due process is that?
It's unfortunately the process that is due these days, and I'm at least happy that some people are pointing out, wait a second, this guy is being treated like an Al-Qaeda operative when all he is doing is acting as a journalist, publicizing information that, frankly, as a citizen, I want to know.
And that the government has not denied as truthful. Ron Kuby, thank you very much for joining us.